for my colleagues along today. So this is actually taken in Malawi. Okay, it's not off the internet or whatever else. I've been there 3 times. I'm going to introduce myself in a second. That's for an arts centre in the southern part of the country. And I really do believe in the statement at the bottom there that Malawi's got so much to offer. And yet every time you sometimes hear about Malawi, or every time you hear about Malawi, we often hear about Malawi's in terms of sort of how poor the country can actually be. So I'm actually at the bottom of that list. I'm Mitch, I'm a recently retired teacher, so I know what it's like to be in a classroom. I was 30 years teaching physics in a school in Fife. I'm now the SAP Youth and Schools Officer. I'll just work up the way now. Tash with me, okay, she's our communications officer, so she'll be taking some video clips and some photographs today. Bosco, who will be giving one of the presentations. Okay, he's a postgraduate student at the University of Glasgow, but he's also been involved with girl and women empowerment groups in Malawi for that. And then we've got Valea and we've got Elita there as well, who are postgraduate students at the University of Scotland-Malawi. I'm going to do a very quick bit, and I do want to, because I really want to make sure that you get more of this from Bosco, Valea and Elita. About this at the end, and I'm glad to believe you've got some questions to ask as well, so feel free to ask. I think we'll take questions anytime. Yeah, I'll just check out there. If you've got any questions anytime, rather than maybe writing it down or whatever else, feel free to ask. So, what do we know about Malawi? Don't sit in your hands. Anything?
Come on, guys.
Where is it? So nobody's any idea where Malawi is in the world? Africa. North? South? No idea? If I said it was sub-Saharan...
I believe it is inland, there is no coast.
Correct. It's sub-Saharan, so is that north or south? Here's the Sahara Desert.
South.
Yeah, okay, it's a sub-Saharan African country. You're quite right, it is landlocked. If you ever see a map, it's completely surrounded. Okay, when I've been there in the past, down south, Malawi's a long thin country and Mozambique runs round it like that. So when I'm down south, I'm actually looking at Mozambique on both sides where we are. Okay, and you've got Zambia and Tanzania and that much further north. Right. So just some statistics for you. For instance, these photographs are all mine. Okay, if you've ever been out there. This is actually a tea plantation in Jolo, one of the southern regions. So it's got a population of just about 21 million. Okay, and it's slightly more in favour of the number of women or females in the country. Okay, there's 13 million there, about 10 million men. Population is increasing all the time. Okay, it's one of these countries where the population is increasing. At the moment, I think the population of Scotland is pretty steady. It's a slight up, slight down, but it's nothing major. Approximately 80% of the population live in areas like this, rural areas, okay? Not in big cities. For us, and most of the population are actually involved in agricultural work. Okay, there's about 75%, if you're okay with percentages, there's about 75% of the people that work in Malawi are actually involved in agricultural work. And it's maybe not coming up too well. I've tried to put the annual in bold. That's £500 a year these agricultural workers will typically earn. Okay, £500 a year. Okay. Folks, I've left the presentation here. Okay, so if you want to keep it, I do want to move on because I want to be able to, my colleagues here, be able to give the bigger part of the presentation today. Okay, so £500 a year, divide that by 12 months, it's not very much. Okay. Things we take for granted, okay, like it means water, means electricity and gas, okay, are not available to all in Malawi. One of the schools that my old school is linked with, there's no electricity. Right, there's no electricity at the school whatsoever. For that, but you'll get that more likely in Blantyre. Okay, that's one of the main roads into Blantyre for that. So, Longleat's the capital. Blantyre is possibly more famous, I think, simply because of the Scottish connections. I think most people think Blantyre is the capital. It's not. Okay, Longleat's the centre for it. Okay, and they do have these things. Okay, they do have running water. They do have mains electricity. They don't have gas as such. Okay, right. But those living in rural areas, okay, rely very much on just wood. Okay, for burning, for heating their homes, for cooking their food, for boiling water and so on. Okay, very often the people, particularly young girls, have got to walk some distance to actually go and collect that water for wells. Again, the two schools that I'm partnered with, they both have wells within walking distance of the actual school itself, but then the people round about don't live that close to the school. Okay, there's typically, that's the well at Mapanga. That's in the Malanji area, right in the southern part of Malawi. So it's just some youngsters getting a drink. Okay, so it's got to be physically hand pumped to get the water up. Right, I have actually taught out there when I've been on my trips with my previous schools. So give you enough idea, primary schools cover what they call 8 standards or years. And unlike Scotland, they have to pass exams to get to the next one. So it's not age and stage. Right, where it's a case of really no matter how well you did in first year here, you move to second year. How well you did in third year, you go to fourth year. Okay, there you have to actually physically pass exams. So we'll see people in a primary class that might be 14, 15, 16 years old possibly. Okay, because they've struggled to pass the exams year on year. For that, okay, to give an example. 1994, okay, the Malawi government passed a law there saying it was going to be free for everybody. When you go to secondary, the education technically is free, but most of the schools are boarding. Okay, so you're actually paying for accommodation and whatever else there, and it can be quite prohibitive. My colleagues will speak a wee bit more about that in the context of girls going to school. Secondary, it's only 4 years. So if you were good in your primary, good in your secondary, you would be leaving school at the same age that you'll be leaving school. Okay, you would be leaving that roughly about the same. Okay. I'll thank my colleagues for some of this information here. So the completion rate isn't very good. So for all the boys and girls that actually start standard 1, there's just about half of them actually complete standard 8. And actually go through the whole way through primary school. And actually complete. So very often people will actually not complete school at all. Okay, they might get to standard 5, standard 6, and then they're maybe never seen again in school. That sort of thing. Okay. As I said before, you see it's not age and stage. Going to repeat, so therefore you will see youngsters an age range in the one class, particularly if you get to standard 7, standard 8, some of the older classes. You'll see some of the youngsters who have been very good and passing all the way through, and you'll see some others who maybe have to stay back a couple of years, okay, repeat a year for it. I was asked to say this, I couldn't find any comparable figures because it's just assumed you'll all finish primary school. Okay, no matter what level it was, right, whether you're in terms of your benchmarks or whether it's level 2 or level 3 or whatever else, you would all have finished primary school. Alright. This is what I'm actually saying, I'm going to leave more of this to my colleagues for this. So a few girls tend to attend secondary compared to the boys, and access is actually harder for them. Right, therefore their attendance is lower. For us, I said there's going to be some more specifics coming out for some of the presentations this morning. Just to offer a lot more pressures. Yeah. Right, several reasons. Okay, we do obviously the cost implications of staying there. There are family pressures. Malawi is a fairly patriarchal society. It's still pretty dominated by men, if you want to call it. And a lot of the young girls now are actually expected to help out at home. Okay, with chores and whatever else. Particularly if relatives are ill, they'll be expected to do that. I know that my colleagues are coming up with this in a bit more detail, a third bullet point, okay, about how young girls can actually be married off in Malawi, or end up being married, not legally, but can end up being married that. And this I'm aware of as well, because one of the contacts I've got in the Cholo region sent me some information, and after COVID, there was a lot of the young women in that area, due to them being at home all the time, because the Malawian schools were closed as well, ended up becoming pregnant, didn't want to come back to school and whatever else. Even if they are pregnant, they're really not allowed to come back until the baby's actually been born. Whereas I'm aware, I've told folk in the past, in my time, who became pregnant, and we had kind of special units in Fife, where the girls could actually go and still be educated and everything else, even when they were ready to actually give birth. So, I know this is coming, I'm going to be spending much time on. So that's legal age for marriage, okay? So it's really to try and lower it. Alright, the other things that try to get girls to stay in school a bit longer with feeding programmes. Some of you might have heard of Mary's Meals. Okay, it's a charity that's not just in Malawi. Okay, we provide a lot of feeding programmes for that. And that does actually encourage the youngsters to come to school, because they can actually get a meal very often first thing in the morning. Okay, it might just be a plate of porridge or a cup of porridge, but that's enough. That's at Mapanga Primary. They haven't got enough classrooms for all the people they've got in the school. What's the school population here, school roll?
About 1,200.
Yeah, well that's typical for a primary school in Malawi. I've got friends of mine who have got a link to another school in that area, and it's over 3,000 youngsters. It's a primary school for it, so it's pretty big, like I said, Kaya. It's not a doom and gloom. Okay, as evidenced, okay, we'll visit us here. Okay, for people that do actually finish primary, secondary, okay, they do actually find they're very well equipped, okay, for actually being in a modern world. Maybe a bit less exposure to some technologies, maybe a bit less exposure to science, but in terms of actually dealing with life, okay, they're much more equipped, okay, I would say, than some of the youngsters here. I always think, when I've been at these schools, that it's all about opportunity. You folks get opportunities, sometimes you take them. They are very often the people want the opportunities, they just didn't get that chance for it, so it's the end of the scale. This is my old rector, chap in Douglas Young. This was my first trip. So I was more actually asked, and I do have some more information here. I'm not going to batter you with loads of numbers and figures and that, but the Scottish Government kind of pride themselves, and President Chikwera, who is the President of Malawi, did actually set up the support from Scotland, particularly with the Climate Justice Fund, should be seen as a kind of prototype for the rest of the world. So Scotland were one of the first countries to really try and support countries like Malawi. They're also involved in Rwanda and Zambia, they're trying to support, particularly these issues, for their health, gender equality, water hygiene, renewable energy and civic governance. Right. Very often these things are pretty well linked. If you've got good governance, then you might have good projects for hygiene and water and whatever else, and they facilitate to actually make things more fair in terms of gender and that. So they all go together. It's been cut back now because they're really looking at health, education and gender equality. That's what the Scottish Government are really trying to focus on now in terms of their support. There are groups that are working with water hygiene, there are groups that are working with renewable energies. Solar is becoming a bit more obvious around Malawi for it. It's a beautiful sunny country, so it's not called the warm part of Africa for nothing. And that's more to do with the welcome you get there rather than to do with the fact that it's pretty hot for it there. Okay, so I've probably talked for a bit more than my 5 minutes, I think. It was going to be, it's maybe more than I thought it was going to be, so I'm now going to pass over to colleague Boswell.